Yeah, that's the best thing to do. Do a backup as well. Okay, recording on YouTube, and so no one misses this. Okay. All right, so let me do okay, I'll do a random order. 9 of us here today. Abigail, Diego, Idali, Jules, Rebel, Stephanie, Sydney, Vanessa. All right, okay, so I'll just our first speaker. So our first speaker randomly selected is Rebel. Our second speaker randomly selected is Stephanie. Our third speaker randomly selected is Diego. Our fourth speaker randomly selected is Jose. Our fifth speaker randomly selected is Abigail. Our sixth speaker randomly selected is Idali. Seventh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Seventh speaker is Jules. Eighth speaker is Vanessa. Okay. So we'll have 8 speakers today. I don't want to make it more than that. So we'll try to cover all the speakers. It is quite possible that, we are not able to cover all the speakers today. So, but anyways, this is the random selection. So we have Rebel as our first speaker. Our second speaker is Stephanie. Our third speaker is Diego. Our fourth speaker is Jose. Our fifth speaker is Abigail. Our sixth speaker is Idali. Our seventh speaker is Jules. And our eighth speaker is Vanessa. All right. Okay. And you're going to be, what am I doing? Okay. You're recorded. So 2 recordings are going on right now. All right. So Rebel, if you're ready. Okay. All right. There you go. All right. Rebel, would you like me to show you cards?
No, I'm good.
You're good? Oh, okay. All right. Right. 1 second here. I'm just going to give me a second here. All right. This is getting blurred. I mean, can you see my...
We can see you, Benny.
Oh, you can see? Okay, good. Very good. I'm very...
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Rebel, whenever you are ready, we are ready for you.
Okay. Hello, everybody. My name is Shafiel. And somewhere around my early teens, I once heard a psychologist recommend journaling for better understanding of my thoughts and my emotions by referencing a 2006 study by Tice and others which showed that writing a journal was as effective as cognitive behavioral therapy for when it comes to reducing the risk of depression in young adults. So here I am 7 years later, ready to take my emotions heads on. The the first day of journaling for me was extremely hard. As you all have heard, the first step is always the hardest. So it was the same for me. I did not know what to write about. I was as lost as a sheep in a pack of wolves, and the wolves being my emotions. I was not in touch with them, and that feeling of lost made me realize how out of touch with my emotions I was, and how I'd not looked within myself for a long time. On the first day of journaling, I remember it took me hours to just write a word on the paper. The major themes of procrastination, gratitude, happiness, and gratefulness, all of these thoughts were in my mind, but that's the thing, they would just occupy my mind, but they couldn't fill the blank paper in front of me. Because those words, those big words were not my reality. So I couldn't write anything for hours. But as the days progressed, the second day came, it became a little easier for me. I remember the first thing I wrote on the paper was home. And the home encapsulated all the feelings I had. I'd been suppressing for a long time. The major theme of my writing was longing. I was yearning for home. I was yearning to be home, to be around friends and family. That was the theme of my writings, most of my writings. In the start, I was frustrated. I had anger inside of me. The more I wrote about my thoughts, the more I penned down all the resentment and frustration I was feeling towards life, towards having to move away from a life I had since I was born, since I was in this world I had built. I had to leave it, and that feeling of resentment was finally validated when I could write it down. The feeling of frustration and anger was there, but there was also a feeling of loss and grief there, where I could not remember home as I had when I first came here. December 2021, I landed here during peak of winter. The white blanket all over Chicago was so chilling for me in contrast to the green, the lively spring colors of the place I belong to. The food, the people, the culture, the small talk, even, it's so different here that I felt lost. I felt that feeling of loss. And I think I carried, even though it's been a year for me, but I think I carried that feeling of loss and grief with me still. And journaling made me realize that it was okay for me to feel bad, feel lost, it was okay for me to mourn for what I had and what I have now. That feeling was validated because I could write it down and I could understand and see myself where I am at life. I would say at the start of my journaling, I was lost. And I think by the end of it, the fog has cleared up a little. It has helped me realize where I stand in life and how what I came with, I have a lot more than that now. I may have left a home behind, but I am building something here. And if in a year I can build such a beautiful life here where I have friends, I have family that I can call family here. If I can have that in a year, then like 2 more years, 3 more years when my degree is done, how much time I'll have then. My journaling journey went from anger to frustration to grief, and grief to finally peace, where I came peace with the fact that I have lost something, but I have also gained something. And I think that's the beauty of life. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Rebel. Thank you, Rebel. That was Rebel for us, class. If you could write, while I make my notes, if you could write your comments for her in the peer evaluation section. Jose, you mentioned that the Zoom call is lagging a lot for you. It was fine for me though. I don't know about others, but I was able to, like, there was no lag for Rebel's speech. I could hear her very clearly. Yeah, although I might
I
keep
could
internet
only,
connection
like,
since I.
hear
That's interesting. Even Stephanie said that
the
it's
video
for
was
me as
kind of
well.
like lagging.
Is it when I'm talking, is it lagging for you?
You kind of stopped for me. Like your video call just like stopped and going.
Oh, okay. All right. You may want to how's the best way to address this? Try logging out and then coming back in. I mean, I don't know, but how's that's going to help? Where are you right now? Are you in school? Jose?
Me, yeah.
You're in school. And what are you using the COD, the free Wi-Fi?
I'm using my phone.
Do you want to use the CODs? Try doing that switching. See whether that helps or not. Try switching to the COD. If you're in school, try using your COD's free Wi-Fi. I mean, I don't think logging in and logging out will make any difference, but I mean, you can try that, but first try switching to COD's Wi-Fi. I think it's the strength of your Wi-Fi. Stephanie, where are you? Are you in school? Oh, you're at home. Okay. For you, which you are using your home Wi-Fi or using your LTE?
I was on my home Wi-Fi, but since I got kicked, I switched over to my hotspot on my phone, and that's been a little bit better.
Okay, can you turn on your camera, Stephanie? Let me just see, because you are the next speaker. Let me see whether there's any time. I mean, whether I can see you or once.
Yeah.
I mean, I will obviously be able to see you. Yeah, and then say anything. All right. Can you just say anything to us?
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
No.
Yeah, I guess just hi.
Yeah, we can hear you. There's no lag.
Okay, good.
So anyway, all right. So I'm going to remove. Okay, whenever I'll give you all about 2 to 3 more minutes to finish your comments and then. So yeah, Jose, you may want to try that. Did you try it, Jose?
Yeah, I'm trying right now.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you are lagging. You are lagging big time. Can you turn on your camera, Jose? And say something to so that I can understand how. All right, let's see. Say something. Let me see. Oh, yeah, it's just the quality doesn't look good today. Yeah, see, you're now. Yeah, it doesn't look. It's not the best. Did you try switching to COD's Wi-Fi? See, he's getting stuck. We cannot hear him. All right, Jose, I'll just unpin you. You can turn off your camera if you don't want to. Okay. Jose, let me know if you have any issues. I don't know whether I don't know whether you can hear me or not, but if you're having issues in regards to your Wi-Fi connection, let me know whether if you've been able to change it, and if you have, whether that is making any difference that you see. Okay, thank you, Abigail. All right. So actually, Jose is on the 4th position, so he comes later. So we have Stephanie as our next speaker. Give you about a minute more for writing your comments for Stephanie. I'm sorry, not for Stephanie, Rebel. What's wrong? Huh? For Rebel. All right, we can start with Stephanie's speech. Stephanie, if you could.
Okay.
All right. Stephanie, would you like me to time you?
No, I think I'm fine.
Okay, all right. Okay, you can start whenever you're ready.
All right. So I'm Stephanie. My informative speech is about journaling. That's the challenge I chose. So journaling can be very beneficial for your mental health. Even if you've never been a writer or one to get emotional, journaling is a very powerful and practical way to communicate with the self. Plus, it's free. The goal of this speech is to supply evidence that journaling is an effective way to shape one's emotional well-being. Whether you want to work on emotional control, better retention of memories, or just dig a little bit deeper into your subconscious, journaling is a great way to get started. Journaling is an activity that I would say most people partake in really just to make a record of their day or review what happened. Whether you do it throughout the day or at the very end, the process is typically the same. You find an ideal spot, you pull out your preferred method of writing and let the thoughts flow. The hardest part of journaling, I'd say, in my opinion, is sitting down and actually doing it. Unless you're feeling especially motivated or driven, journaling isn't typically something a lot of people do. And there's a number of reasons for that. I'd say the biggest reason itself is motivation. However, there's a lot of stigma around journaling and how it's almost considered to be a diary. Like it's almost seen as like a little girl kind of thing. And I feel like that strays a lot of people away from it. And all I have to say about that is at least try. You can't knock it until you try it. I really didn't want to do it either. And after my first day, I waited until the end of the day to do it. I wasn't feeling very motivated. But it was nice to, get all my thoughts written on a paper. And the next day, I actually didn't notice much of a difference. It wasn't really until the second day that I started writing, I noticed that I could recall some things that happened throughout the day a little bit better. By the third day, I started utilizing my journal more. I discovered some new methods. I felt that another reason people may not be comfortable journaling is because they feel they have to physically write in a notebook or on a piece of paper. That was one of the hardest parts for me, especially since I tend to think a lot faster than I can physically write. So what I started doing was I would carry my iPad with a keyboard around and I started typing for my journal. I felt I was able to flow and use my thoughts a lot better to get them down. So I feel like a lot of people, if they looked at these other methods, they might find an easier way that works for them to journal. By the fourth day, I began carrying around my iPad rather than a notebook to write on. And on the fourth day, it just happened that I had a little bit of road rage. And once I got to my destination, I pulled out my iPad and started writing. And instead of letting this event bother me for the ongoing day, after writing it out, it felt like I had vented to a friend. And I felt a lot calmer. I noticed my anger subsiding. And I really felt that if I hadn't wrote that, I would have just mulled in my own rage for the rest of the day. Mm-hmm. So that was very, very helpful. And I noticed that using it throughout the day rather than waiting until the end to just blur it all into one little bit was a lot easier than doing that. But by the fifth day, I was just using a lot more often. It was a lot nicer to write. It was a lot easier to remember things. I feel if people utilize their journal, that it might be a way they can maybe not get so angry at others and have a little bit more sympathy, a little bit more empathy. Journaling to me over this past week as a challenge was almost like a therapy. And as I mentioned earlier, it's free. If this is something you've been considering trying or wanting to try, or you've just felt really stressed out, journaling may be an option for you. Journaling has proven to me that it can help your mental health and it can help you with your emotional control. So I hope that you're able to try it and help your emotional control as well.
Nice. Thank you. Okay. Thank you, Stephanie. All right. If you could write your thoughts for Stephanie. Okay. Can we have Diego now? Diego is our third speaker.
Yeah, just give me a sec.
Okay, sure.
Is that fine?
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. Okay. Sure. Okay, Diego, do you want me to time you or are you good?
Can you time me?
All right. Okay, sure. So I'll be showing you the time cards. Okay, so it should come like this. I'll probably do it like this. Okay.
All right.
All right. So 1 second. Yeah, you can start whenever you're ready.
Can you imagine being a Black, Indigenous, and/or person of color, a member of the LGBTQ plus community, being part of a religion besides Christianity, being part of a minority? For many of us, we don't have to imagine because it is our reality. In this country, there are many of us who are part of a minority or more than one minority, and because of that, there are people who completely reject us for being who we are. You see almost every day on the news, on social media, people being harassed or killed because of the color of their skin, sexuality, religion, etc. All because some people do not accept the fact that it is all right for people to be different from them. The challenge that I chose was to listen to a speaker with whom I do not agree with. I chose this challenge because I have very strong political opinions, morals, and values. The topic is important to talk about because there are many people who despise others just for being different. Minorities all over the country are being mistreated just because they're minorities, and it has gotten worse over the last couple of years. What I did for this challenge is I researched popular conservative speakers and wrote what they had to say about certain topics, and then I wrote why those things that they're saying is wrong and misinformed. The most difficult part of this challenge was to actually do the research. Doing the research itself wasn't the hard part. The hard part was reading and watching all of these speakers say the most horrendous things imaginable. The only thing the challenge did for me was to strengthen the opinions that I already had about the opposing party. For the first 2 days, I researched the popular conservatives Ben Shapiro and Candace Owens. They had a lot to say about the LGBTQ plus community. Ben Shapiro has argued that homosexuality needs to remain in the DSM, the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders. In one of his videos, he calls the actor Elliot Page's coming out as in a negative light, which could only be described as transphobic. In a video with Candace Owens, she described that the movement for equality for transgender people, she described it as demonic and claimed it is one of the most dangerous and evil things. I completely disagree with the two commentators. The things that those two said about that community is very hard to hear. For the next 2 days, the third and fourth day, I researched Steven Crowder and television host Tucker Carlson.
Mm-hmm.
Steven Crowder, in one of his videos, he was making a video about a news anchor woman who was of an Asian ethnicity, And all he did throughout the video was make and poke fun of her ethnicity. And he has been called out many times for not just this one instance, but many instances of which he has done the same thing. And the news anchor, Tucker Carlson, he has been spreading the conspiracy theory called the Great Replacement Theory, which is the theory that the US and other Western countries are bringing non-white people so that they could achieve a political agenda. Both of these people are also have said many disgusting things about minorities in the past. At the end of this challenge, I still hold the same opinions, values, and morals. Nothing has really changed for me. It's only strengthened my opinions on the Conservative Party. Ignorance is a vacuum. Knowledge covers a surface or fills a container. An ignoram is devoid of knowledge, whereas an expert is brimming with knowledge. An incomplete theory has holes or gaps, whereas a complete theory covers the terrain. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Diego. All right, if you could write your comments for Diego. I just saw that I was actually on mute. Our next speaker is Jose, and as you can see, Jose is actually trying to connect, but is not. He's in COD. He's trying to access Wi-Fi there. That's also not working for him. Jose, can you hear us? Jose? All right. So, Jose, if you are able to hear us and you're not able to respond, you can also call me on my number. I'm going to put it out here. You can FaceTime me. I can actually turn the camera and broadcast it to the class, and we can get the speech done that way. So if you're able to, I'm going to, I just text messages. I just messaged you here on chat. So if you would like to do that, avail that option, you can do that as well. Okay, so I will move on to the next speaker. Yeah, I'm going to put my phone number here. If Jose, if you're able to call and do FaceTime, and I can broadcast it, turn the camera for all of us to hear, we can do that too. This is my number. FaceTime me. All right. Okay, so our next speaker is Abigail. Jose, your microphone is on. I'll have to, okay, I just muted you. All right. All right. Abigail is our next speaker. Where are you, Abigail? Okay, Abigail is right here.
Yeah, here I am.
Good. Abigail, would you like me to time you?
No, thank you.
Okay. Okay, we can't see your cameras off, Abigail.
Okay, yeah, sorry.
No problem. All right. Okay, is it possible, Abigail, to just do this? You're okay in terms of this, just like just do this to the camera. Yeah, much better. Yeah. Okay, you can start.
Greek culture has been around since ancient times. My speech I did was about finding out and talking to people who are Greek and figuring what their culture is all about. In school, we learn from a young age about the culture and the ancient history of it all. Greek has a major influence in the world today and throughout history. Greek people love their culture. They're very family-oriented and do everything about that. The people who I've talked to this past week all have gone to Greek school since they were 4th grade all the way to 8th grade. Thinking about that, it's like you're going to normal school plus Greek school where they learn their language, the different dances, and their history. They also go to church, which their religion is Greek Orthodox. Having even more of that, Greek Orthodox is super tight and religious, and being that you go to church almost every day. Greek food is very healthy in the native land. Many restaurants that are Greek are owned by generations and generations of a family. The motherland is gorgeous, stunning with their white and blue places and their blue water surrounding it. In the end of the day, Greek culture and any sort of culture in which a person brings joy to, those who love it and came where it is from. Coming here in America, many Greek people still want to bring their culture with them. As they do, they give more and more information to others around who like to learn about it, like me. In the end of the day, they all love each other and no matter what, will support each other just like any other person. That's it.
Thank you. That was Abigail for us class. If you could put in your comments for her. Thank you. All right, let's, Idali, you're going to be our next speaker. Let me know if I have to time you, Idali.
Yeah, let me just move a little bit because I don't
Okay,
think
sure,
you will
sure.
be able to see me from where I am.
Okay.
Can you see me right now?
Let me see. Let me see. Yes, I can see you very well. Nicely. Okay, all right. Idali, would you like me to time you?
I think I'm fine actually.
Okay. All right, great. Whenever you want to comfortable, you can start.
Okay, thank you. So how to get out of my comfort zone? That was the question that was always stuck in my head. I knew what comfort zone it was, but I didn't know like the real meaning. So what comfort zone is? It is a situation in which you feel comfortable and in which your abilities and determination are not being tested. Well, I tried to test my abilities. Actually, I kind of regret it. So my dad convinced me like around 2 months ago to move to the US, and I was thinking about getting out of my comfort zone. So why not? I made the decision of moving here to Illinois from another country, other language, another different culture, just 1 week before school started. So I started living with my dad's brother, which I heard a lot about, but I only used to see him and his family like once or twice a year.
Mhm.
That's getting out of your comfort zone, if you ask me, or at least it was as and it still is for me. So I started living with people that you barely know, besides the part that I used to be very close to my brother. So everything was upside down. I didn't have my school schedule ready, not an official ID, no job, no friends, a lot of negative things. I was feeling like sorry. I was feeling that the world was coming down for me. Start thinking if it was normal to feel like that every time you get, to feel like that every time you get out of your comfort zone. The days passed, and all my family was telling me that I was going to get used to everything. And the more they said, the more frustrated I was getting because I wasn't understanding many things in here. I dropped a class a month after I started because it was feeling that was too much to handle. I was also mad at myself because back in my country, I used to have like a lot of friends and hang out almost every weekend. Obviously, not anymore. I don't go out anymore. You can call it comfort zone, and maybe it was, but I was capable of doing all the things I wanted by myself without help of anyone.
Mhm.
Well, not anymore, not in the US, where I've been depending on my family to go everywhere. Still don't have my driver's license yet, and my cousins they have to drive me everywhere I need to go. So I try not to disturb them unless it's an emergency. It is already a challenge for them to get used to the fact that I live with them. So they did get out of their comfort zone, and they didn't even ask for it. Trying to bond with an unknown person for them. So the months had passed and I still feel kind of lost. I already had a job, but I still don't have driver's license.
Mhm.
I met some people from work and some other from classes, but I still think that this mix of culture is something that I'll never get used to. I wrote a journal. I'm not used to express myself, so I think maybe like writing will help to clear things up. And what I learned about it is that it's good doing different things that you normally wouldn't do. And at the beginning, it might be hard, but it's part of the adventure and to get used to and make it a comfort zone. So I spent a lot of time regretting the things I've lost since I came here instead of seeing the positive on everything that has happened lately, and that I'm not the only one that is having a rough time. So that maybe I'm overthinking every step I do. When I was writing, I realized that I have many things to change so I can feel good with myself. To make this new place part of my comfort zone, taking it step by step, but on my own, because it is something that teach me that each person goes through in their own way. So some less longer than others to reach a proposed goal. Besides, it will gets overwhelming if some persons try to help. That means there will be more opinions, more tips that it might work for them, but they may not doesn't work for you. So do it. Like just break your comfort zone, and who cares what people say? So
Thank you. Thank you.
Sorry.
That was it.
I had trouble because my family is just leaving, so they were like passing around.
Okay,
I
no.
got a little bit nervous.
Okay, no, that's okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you. That was Idali for us. You could write your comments for her. All right, class, let's go with our next speaker. We have Jules as our next speaker. Jules, are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, great. Okay. All right, Jules. Jules, would you like me to time you?
Yes, please.
Okay. Okay, you can start, Jules, whenever you're ready. I'm going to show you the time cards like this, okay?
Okay.
Okay. All right, start.
I'm a very stubborn person, and once I've decided my opinion on a topic, I usually stick with it, and I never change my mind, and I get really like caught in it. So I know it's hard to admit when I'm like wrong, or when for other people too, it's hard to admit when you're wrong or that you decided you don't agree with that anymore. So sometimes I find myself advocating for people and for, you know, topics that I don't really 100% know everything about, and like can really like I don't really understand everything, but I know that I support it. So for me, it's important to know who you're supporting and like what you're following, so that you don't support people who are being harmful, who are spreading false information, or who are just, you know, not morally correct. So usually I don't really watch new people, because I like to stick with the people that I know and that I know are like going to be, you know, someone I agree with. So, but I also think it's important to, you know, make sure you know both sides of the story. Make sure you are, you know, both like to like when there's a controversial topic, you know, like the right and the wrong side. So, you know, like, you know, if you know your opponent's thoughts and opinions, then you like know how you could kind of debuttal their remarks. If I decided to watch someone that I would never really regularly watch, because I don't agree with everything he says, or mostly everything he says, but I heard a lot about him because, you know, people say that he has really outlandish views, but he also has a really big following, and that person is Andrew Tate. And I never had any interest in watching his videos because I knew that he was kind of known to be really misogynistic and feminist, and I didn't really want to like associate with him at all. So like even just watching him, it's a little bit challenging just to get through any of his videos. And so I watched a couple of interviews with him in it, because I couldn't watch his original podcast because it got taken down because of some of his views. So to kind of understand him, I watched an interview, and he had a lot of views that were about hypermasculinity. And, you know, he thought that a man's rightful place was working and really fighting for his advantages, and that a woman should stay at home taking care for the kids, and that you were a real man if you were at home taking care of your kids, and that women are effectively children, is what he said. He thinks that women don't know what they want, and that women, you know, need someone to take care of them. So all of those opinions are something I don't agree with, and it was really like weird to hear, because you don't usually hear people saying all that online. And, you know, it just made me realize like he has a really big following of men, and I think a lot of that comes from wanting power and wanting, you know, men see Andrew Tate and they think, oh, I want to be like him. He's a millionaire. He owns like a bunch of casinos. He is, you know, obviously he's all the way to the top because, you know, he has all this money. And, you know, they want to be like him. But then you realize, you go, I don't think they actually take the time to invest and see what his opinion, like his ideology is. Like they don't really understand like women also have feelings and opinions, and that, you know, women are just made for men. So I wouldn't suggest like going as far as watching his videos, but even just watching videos from like people you don't really agree with can either strengthen your own personal views, or they can, you know, give you new ideas and opinions. So even though I don't agree with most of what he says, I do think it was important for me to like watch him and understand where he's coming from. And I think it's like very important for other people to kind of see, get an understanding on like the importance of how the media you're consuming is like affects you, and that you need to really really take time to know that the people you are supporting are a reliable source.
Thank you. Thank you. That was Jules for us. Thank you, Jules. All right, class. What I'm going to do is today Vanessa, you would have been our last speaker, but today I am going to not do any more, take any more speeches today. We will move on to our next speech day, which is the second, right? Just give me a second. Yeah, the second. So remember, all of you have to be, those of you who did not, go, you have to be prepared for your speech. So we're going to do our speeches on November 2nd. What I will do for you right now, I would like all of you to take the time. You know that our class ends at 10:55. I would like all of you to kind of finish up your notes, or if you haven't, if you're planning to finish up your thoughts on some of the peer evaluations, I would like you to finish those thoughts, and please submit it to the class assignment that you see on Blackboard. Should be turned in by today, by 11:30 a.m. today. And absolutely, please do submit your peer evaluation as an email. This is how you're going to do it. You need to send it to the speakers. Give me a second here, and I think I've talked to you about it, but you can always I can again show it to you to send email here. So I'm going to do a screen share here. There you go. So once you are done writing all your peer evaluations, you can finish the write-up. I would like you to go to send email, and you know who the speakers were today. In order, we had Rebel as our first speaker. We had Stephanie as our second speaker. Our third speaker was Diego. Our fourth speaker was Abigail. Our fifth speaker was Idali, and our sixth speaker was Jules. Okay, so I will, you will have to please individually send all the speakers your evaluation. Send them privately as an email, just addressed to them. So if you go to single select users, let's say you want to send it to Jules, here you go to email and then select Jules, do this, and that's it. And she gets it, okay? So I would like all of you to do that. What I will do right now, I would like all the speakers who went today, as I just mentioned your names, the speakers need to stay back. Now, those of you who were audience, I think there are very few people in the audience, I guess. I think it was now, we just have Jose, Sydney, and Vanessa who are now the audience. So the audience can leave. And of course, you should be able, this is independent, the Zoom is independent of Blackboard. So you can, you are free to go, but do turn in your peer evaluations to me in class assignment, and please do send an email privately to each of the 6 speakers and send them what your thoughts about their speech were. Okay, having said that, what I will do now is the rest of the 6 speakers, I will put you in a waiting room, okay? And the recording, I'm going to stop the recording because now the recording is all done, and I've done it on Zoom, and I've also done it on YouTube so that the recording is actually successful. What I will do is I would give you a feedback on your speech privately. I will hopefully I will get the YouTube recording of your speech, and I will also do a rubric share, a screen share, and then you should be getting a recording. You should be getting a feedback from me. Okay, but I'm going to stop the recording so that none of it is recorded. All right. Having said that, I will now.
I have a question, more of a requirement, a favor. You think you will be able to start with me? It's just that I have class and I have to go.
All right, so you should
I don't
be.
think
All right,
that could be possible.
Yeah, I don't know who is this. Oh, Idadi spoke to me.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, I can. Till 10:55 you're supposed to be in class. So, but I'll honor your request. I will go, and if anybody has a issue, your name is coming up first. So I would have gone according to the order. Rebel, do you think I can take on Idali?
Sorry.
Yes, you can.
Okay, all right. So, okay, about where do we submit our speech? Which speech are you talking about? Evaluation? Vanessa? Vanessa?
No, I'm
Which,
sorry. I meant the one that we did, the one,
your
that-
draft?
yeah.
Yeah, you don't need to submit any draft to me. You've already
Oh.
done the work. You've done the work. I didn't want, I mean, whatever
don't want-
edits, I didn't want any third draft or anything. That's
Oh,
up
so you
to
don't want
you.
her-
No, I didn't
you
want a
don't
third draft. No, I didn't.
Okay,
need that.
no.
It's up to
fine.
you. It's for you. You don't have to submit anything to me.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Okay, so 1 second of Scooter. I just got a text from somebody. Oh, okay. All right, Abigail. I will. Abigail, you can. You know what? You can just because yeah, I'll do that so that you can submit. Okay, I will be talking to you, and while I'm talking to you, I can make sure that I get your document. Okay. All right. Having said that, I will go according to. I'll first talk to Idali, then Rebel, then Stephanie, then Diego, then Abigail, then Jules. Okay.
I
The
have
rest of
a
you can
quick
leave.
Question.
Yeah.
So I did a Microsoft Word for the peer evaluation. I was wondering if I could just send the Word to everyone. I didn't write a specific. I wrote a whole paper on it. So it's all in one
You
spot.
need to send, you need to, let's say you've written a whole paper, but I'm sure it is addressed to different students, right? Different students,
Yeah.
because you can't have the same document, same evaluation for everyone. So you, the whole document, you send it to me as it is. I mean,
Yeah.
But then if individually, if you can cut, copy, paste, and send it privately to the individual speakers.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, so now I'm going to take all of you out, putting you all. So 1, 2, 3, all of you are out. So I need to have how many students are here. Okay, so I don't know what happened to Abigail. Abigail dropped out. 1 second, class. Okay, so having said that, I'm going to put you individually in. First of all, I'm going to stop this recording. Stop recording. Yes.